So how can you have a civil war in Sierra Leone without European colonialism making this into its colony? So they set the trap. Yeah. So we're in the trap. It has our foot, and we're yelling and screaming, yeah, 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 yeah. And we're blaming the ones that can't get us out the trap, and forgetting that someone set this trap. Someone deliberately said, I'm going to catch this person and set the trap. Right. Colonialism was the trap that set us up to never be independent. For us never to industrialize. For us never to modernize without westernization. Now easternization. Now Asia wants us to talk their languages in Africa in exchange for their development.
Yeah, I understand. I'm seeing that.
You
That's
understand?
Another form of colonialism.
So it's absolutely colonialism. Whenever you extend your cultural and economic dominance over other people who's not originally from your system in any kind of exchange. If we're doing business, no problem. You know, it's goods for money. Goods, services for money. No problem. But once you say, hey man, if you want to do business with me, at least 500,000 of your people got to speak Mandarin. We're going to bring the Chinese youth and students over here, and they're going to teach y'all how to develop Africa.
Yeah, see, this is where we need to start thinking differently and say, no, you want to come here, you speak like us.
This is why the diaspora must step up.
Yeah, I agree.
We stand out there in the diaspora and grumble and complain. The Chinese are there. The Arabs are there. Where are you?
Well, I got to say, I put my hands up here, I'm guilty of that too.
It's a contradiction. You know why it's a contradiction? Because when we do that, then it means that we haven't internalized our own responsibility within. They may oppress us, but that means we have a responsibility to resist, rebel, and free ourselves. If there's anything,
I'm on that journey.
If there's anything in our traditions, in our history, in our culture as African people, despite our diversity, there's one thing: constant flow of resistance. There's a historian named Vincent Harding. He wrote a book called "There's a River," and he outlines by taking case by case, chronologizing how African people resisted every single day of enslavement and the different ways that they did that. It wasn't just the Nat Turner Rebellion, boom, because of the famous. Every day there was some kind of form of resistance that an enslaved person would give. Just like if you got caught inside of a fox trap, you're going to give up some resistance. You're not going to just yell, lay down. No, our ancestors yelled, they screamed, they went crazy, they fought. They didn't just surrender. There was only so much that they could do and still keep their lives. So they would think about us. That's powerful.
See, the other thing, in relation to some of what you're saying, is this thing where there's a lot of black people, especially in diaspora, going on about how corrupt our people are. And I had to stop them. So listen, yeah, we've got our problems, but if you look at Africa as a whole, as far as I understand the figures, 50 billion is being taken out of the country for corruption by our own people. But I said, France alone is taking $500 billion.
Let's talk about this. How do you get corruption without bribery? So if I'm a public official in Sierra Leone, I make 1 million leones, 1.5 million leones, $150 per month. I'm an official in the government. I really serve every day to help to pick the whole nation. But I don't got chances to make good money. You understand that? So already you're in a situation where you're working, you're serving, but you ain't being compensated.
You're being contributed.
Already, because the money no day. Then, secondly, you meet a Chinese man that wants to do mining. But he doesn't tell you that straight up. He tells you he wants to do agriculture. So go to the minister or something. Go to someone that knows the minister, somebody who can give him a connection. And before you know it, he's paying bribes to get closer. He knows that he's going to pay them bribes to get closer. Oh, well, it's the system. You're just going through the system. No, you're not. No, you're not. What you are doing is participating in corruption. You are enticing poor people to be corrupt in their dealings with you. And then you go back and say, these people are corrupt. No, what about you, the briber?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, basically.
You understand
like
that?
The French.
It's the same thing as when they say, we sold our people. We can't blame the European. He had a demand. What did he come here for? We have been fighting wars and disputes among ourselves.
Like you said about how
having our own things for a long, long time, and we never developed a system nowhere near the Western system of enslavement. We always maintain the humanity of people. There's people in our history where they were born enslaved, black people, and became emperors later, became chiefs and kings later, became royal people from slavery to royalty because of their acts. We have a different moral system. When you behave proper, you will be respected for it. And so even your status as an enslaved person, or let me say a pawn person, because you could owe me money. You know, you might have a situation where your child, your son, abuses my daughter, or steals some of my cows. There's no police. We go right to the chiefs.
Yes.
Chief, I got problem. This man, he offended me. He's speaking. His child offended my child. I want justice. And that justice might be your son working for that man for 7 years. The white man interpret that as indentured servitude, but that literally was our justice. Where were our prisons if we were enslaving people? Where was our chains? We made iron. We iron smelted. When did we ever make chains and handcuffs?
Never.
But to add to your point about the way the Chinese move through the system, the other thing that I will say to that is that some of our kings and queens of the day, when they were giving our people up, even though people used the term that we were slaves, we weren't slaves, we worked for those people because we had a commitment to the society. So when they gave us away for whatever receivements that they got, they thought that we were going to be treated well. So some of it went that direction.
Well, that's why I said business is business. Our people are open to trading with anyone on a fair basis, on a fair deal. We feel like we got what we paying for.
Equal value.
Equal value deal. So when they was bringing European stuff we never had here, we was going to do what China does. Grab it, duplicate it, incorporate it into ours. If it was better than what we was already using, this is scientific exchange. People don't understand what happens when people begin to trade with each other. They learn each other's languages, you know, they develop relationships. So our people was ready to trade. We wasn't the racists. We didn't say these are white people, let's enslave them. They did. And we forget that. They took advantage of a traditional system of justice that entailed pawnage as a form of punishment when you wrong someone. And said, well, bring me them pawns. They can work their 7 years off with me. I'll bring them back or whatever. You understand?
So once they left, they never came back.
Obviously, the thing that hurts us most is that somehow, some way, our people were stripped away from their families and given away by people that didn't value them and didn't see them as human beings, even if they was Africans.
Yeah, I agree.
It took both sides.